This is going to be a discussion for the real estate development community and for those who are trying to build for a sustainable tomorrow. And welcome Odessa, and then all the panelists for panel one, can you please come up to the stage? Hello, sir.
Hello.
Mr. Eddie Price, how are you doing? Eddie Price came all the way from San Diego. And then we have Mr. Odessa Riley. I'm going to introduce our moderator. Odessa Riley, with nearly 20 years of real estate experience and over $400 million in closed transactions, Odessa Riley Jr. is a sought-after professional best known for his specialty in finance and property asset management. As CEO of WLM Financial and a partner at SoCal Premier Property Management, Odessa services span across residential, commercial, and mixed-use real estate encompassing property acquisitions, financing, and leasing. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guest to talk about sustainable development and advocacy in a new economy.
So I know everybody, Star, thank you for having me on and having this put together. This is something that we really need to talk more about in our communities. I want to make sure everybody out there is really, really giving credit for being here today on a Saturday when you could be doing something else. You're out here learning about what we're going to be doing in the future and how this is going to affect our kids, grandkids, and their kids. So before we get up here and start talking about just the most detailed things, let's get a little bit of information about the people up here so you can know who's talking to you and all the great information they're giving out. So I'm going to start on my left with Eddie. I really just want you to give a little bit about your background, how you got started, and tell us a little bit about your company, all right?
All right, my name's Eddie Price. I am a product of East Oakland, California in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I grew up under the Black Panthers. My brother and sister were Black Panthers. I was a little bit too young. I'm not wrapped too tight. If you get to know me, you'll agree with me. Case in point, I'm happy I lotioned my legs and ankles today because I didn't know I was going to be up on a stage where you could see my ashy ankles. Aside from all that, I am in the energy business. I work for an organization called Grid Alternatives. I've been working for them almost 15 years. And that's the longest I've ever had a job, and I like it because we do good. Did they tell you I cuss a little bit?
We're going to keep it a little clean. We got some kids in here, so
okay.
Let's...
I do good stuff.
There we go.
They do good stuff. But I created an organization called the San Diego Urban Sustainability Coalition because Grid didn't really do enough in educating the community to this energy thing, right, or environmental thing. And for them, it was the environment, but for my community, it's about the money and the money that could be saved and made from solar on top of your roof. And interestingly enough, I'm also I'm not a developer, but I'm developing an energy equity campus in San Diego. It's called the San Diego Energy Equity Campus at Valencia Park. I didn't come up with this idea. God came up with this idea and gave it to me because he knows I'm crazy enough to actually try to do it. I asked him for like a sustainable hot dog cart in Balboa Park or something, right? He gives me 4.5 acres and tried to make me do something with it. But it is designed to...
Talk a little bit more about that. Just tell us a little about you, and we're going to talk about your park, everything about it.
Say that again? Okay, I don't follow directions too well neither. So more about me. I'm married. I have a son, 28-year-old son, and I love living life.
All right, Sherry. Over here, I known you for a while. You've been doing a lot of great things since I met you. You know, founder and CEO of Urban Design Center. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started, please.
So my company is Urban Design Center, and I want to just say two things. One is Denise Fairchild, Dr. Denise Fairchild is the reason I'm here today. I was at UCLA, I looked up and saw this dynamic African-American woman on a stage, and I go, that's it, that's what I want to do with my life. So thank you, Denise. I love you so much. And she did, the first environmental program that she drove in our community. She mentioned the waste burn incinerator that they were building in South LA. That's where I went. She and Mandela Kaise said, go and work with concerned citizens. We're going to build affordable housing there. There's a lot more to that. But that was a waste burn incinerator that was going to contaminate our community. And it was $500 million bond issue that the city was floating. With her leadership and in partnership with concerned citizens and legal aid, they killed that bond issue and made the city lose lots of money because they didn't think to come to the community. And that started what I think environmental racism in our community. And from there, we can go on and think about how do we build a community in South LA and housing and jobs from there. But it had such a tremendous impact. We build housing at Urban Design Center. We focus on sustainable development. We're on the Stockershy Creative Project in South LA, which will be one of the first sustainable production studios, a $250 million impact project by Forest Bay. And I had the pleasure of writing one of the first grants for this project, AltaSea. It was an EDA grant. And I can remember coming here, it didn't look anything like this. This is fantastic what's happened. But they said, we need to write a grant, we need to raise money for AltaSea. I said, okay. So we ended up writing a grant to the federal government about the blue economy. Nobody knew about it. And that told me we can come up with ideas, and we can push them forward, and we can obviously make them happen. We just have to start. And that EDA grant that I had the pleasure of writing to the Department of Commerce, U.S. Department of Commerce, became their #1 grant that they've ever seen because it was so innovative. It talked about bringing forth solutions that we hadn't talked about before. So I'm really proud to be here today. I'm looking forward to being on the panel and then also talking about how do we build more sustainable housing.
All right, and we have Joe Tomlinson to your left, and he is the founder or chairman and president of the electric company. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into this.
Sure. Well, thanks a lot, Odessa, and thanks, Starlet. So I've been in the renewable energy business since 2010. Prior to that, I was in some projects that had to do with recycled polymers and things of that nature. But, essentially, I've always tried to be in a space where, I was working towards something that had an environmental goal. And, over the years, we've come to this place where this economy is finally ready to kind of burst open and really start to deploy all the assets that need to get deployed. And there are bottlenecks in that process. And so I founded Electric, and I've got a great team, including Starlet, and about 100 years of experience between us. And our goal is to find projects that are community focused and then reach into the community to deploy those projects and build the local infrastructure at the same time, because this new economy, the future of energy that Dr. Fairchild was speaking to, it requires workforce to deploy it, and then it requires new entrepreneurs and new businesses to maintain it and to keep it going over the years and decades to come. And none of that work has been done, but that work is only just starting to be done. And so there's a tremendous opportunity to work with communities, to work with community building organizations, to work with churches, houses of worship, and workforce development organizations to bring that value to a project and then kind of circle that project in the community to bring more value to the community. And those are the projects that we're looking to do as a business.
That's great. All right, so I want to get into these questions. I'm not going to make them too hard. I want to make sure that people are getting a lot of information, though. So we're going to start ladies first because my mom raised me right. Cherie, I know you've been in the affordable housing development for a while now. How are you implementing or bringing in renewable to your projects and making it work?
So as Starlet mentioned, we have new policies here in the state of California. The city of LA has their Green Build initiative. So that is helping to propel the design process, which is where it starts for new construction projects. My company, Urban Design Center, we're focused on facilities, but we launched another company in partnership with Kimberly Brown and Carlton Jenkins called Housing Impact Partners. And there what we're doing is we're not only looking at what we call the naturally occurring affordable housing. Those are our older developments, and how do we make them more sustainable? Figure out how do we bring in EV charging so that they can also participate in this opportunity to have better transportation, and also make them more sustainable from the weatherization and the windows, and making them have things like Wi-Fi that makes a project a little bit more sustainable in terms of design. So we're doing that with our older buildings, but the new buildings, we're able to imagine, we're able to take the policies that we have in the city of LA for both the Green Build Initiative and now Title 24 initiatives, and rethink how we design and make sure that there are places for people to live and where they can actually enjoy their lives with lighting, and as well as open space, more open space and design. All of the buildings are electric, so one of the things we're doing is partnering with other people to figure out how do we have the most efficient and quality types of electronics in buildings. You have more opportunities now to bring in washer and dryers inside the units versus having them external, which also increases the quality of life. We're looking at ways inside of our buildings to make sure that people are connected through technologies, and we can do things like have them have a sustainable workforce inside of a building because they have Wi-Fi. That's so important with so many people working at home. Mm-hmm. And then because we have no parking as part of a lot of these ordinances, we're looking at electric vehicle programs where each building can have its own maybe truck or car that can be shared with the residents, so that not everybody has to have a vehicle. And we're working with Ben from Chaos Network. You see the little shuttle, the Sankofa free shuttle that goes around our community. That idea he had was brilliant. We need to connect all of our developments so that if you have seniors or young people, everybody doesn't need a car, because we have a grid we're building with transportation, but it's not sufficient to move people out. My brother David Morrison is taking over the leadership at Urban Design Center. One of the things he's done is, the Edison has a new program. It's a professional program that can work with owners to help them access all of these benefits they can have by transforming their projects into having electric vehicles. So I'm really proud of what he's doing, but we need more people, and that's why I really love what Starlet's doing. We need roundtables. We need to look at projects and see how do we solve the problem, because every project's a little different. Every project has something different that it needs to solve in terms of becoming and being sustainable and renewable.
That's great. All right, I'm going to get over to you, Eddie, and I'm going to kind of piggyback on that question. You started beating me to my first question. The Energy Equity Campus you are building in San Diego, it's a bold model. What's the vision, and who is it for?
It's for communities of concern, as Dr. Fairchild was mentioned, to be involved and knowledgeable about where we're going as a country. It's being built on a plot of city, the city used to own it. I've since purchased it. City-owned land. It's been sitting there for like 30 years because it's in the middle of a community of concern, which is a hood. Developers kind of shied away from it. We went through a process to get it from the city and had to put it out to the public, and the public really wanted it, the community wanted it. It's designed to give jobs, education, and a place for camaraderie in this industry in a community of concern. I didn't just want to build a table, and I didn't want to just build a table in a building. I wanted to own the land that the building and the table sat on. That way we can have our own conversation at the table. We're always having conversations about communities of concern outside of a community of concern, right? If I want to talk about solar in my community, I got to do it downtown. Why can't I do it in my community? If we want to talk about workforce development, why do I have to go to Mira Mesa to talk about workforce development? We need to have those conversations in our community about our community. It's been a long road. I'm not a developer. I didn't know how to do any of this. I just knew it needed to be done. The state of California loves it. The city of San Diego loves it. The community loves it. We just need to get it built.
Okay.
to take advantage of all these things that all these people are talking about.
That's amazing. All right, we're going to hop over to you, Joe.
Oh, wait a minute.
Go for it.
One more thing. I got a booth back there if anybody's interested in investing or collaborating on this project.
Perfect. All right, Joe.
I'm sorry.
We have Cherie building affordable. We have Eddie over here putting the campus together, and your company is creating a lot of the things that make the energy work. So at the electric company, you're developing cutting-edge renewable solutions. What innovations are ready to scale to be able to put into these type of projects?
Well, there's a lot of innovations that are happening right now. We're trying to be, in terms of innovation, trying to be innovative in how we bring capital to projects and finding projects that are financeable. And then, using that finance to bring in the community elements into the project and building that local ecosystem that's lasting. That's really where I think the most opportunity lies in this new economy. Now, it's been a little bit difficult in the last little bit. There's a couple wrenches being thrown in the gears, and you think you got a grant, for instance, and all of a sudden grants are frozen or stuff's going on, right? So nonetheless, the momentum behind this shift is happening, and we've got a lot of solar panels can be 25 cents a watt. When I started, they were $4 a watt. I mean, it's becoming so inexpensive, and some of the forces that we're working against are entrenched forces that want to continue to be able to own and sell us the feedstock that drives our lives, right? And they don't want that to change. So we really have to work together to find these opportunities and then build these opportunities out collaboratively. And so, those are the kind of solutions that I'm talking about when we're saying we're bringing, some stuff to bear that, I don't think we'll be the only ones, because there are others that are doing it, but we're trying to do it really with a high level of expertise. And we've got a lot of gray hair people on our team that have done some stuff, right? So we know how to get some of that stuff done.
And I love that. What are you going to say, Sherry?
I would just add that one of the things that would be great when I was listening to you is we look at some of maybe the hub projects like Stalker Street Creative has got to figure out how to have not only 75, 80 chargers and then the heavy duty chargers for the trucks so that we're bringing in products and the trailers responsibly, but it can look at how does it serve the greater community? What does that strategy look like? What other projects can it link up with to have more of a sustainable hub in each community? Maybe that would be something wonderful. We can identify those throughout South LA, for instance, and then work from there to link up the knowledge and the grants and the brain trust to figure out a bigger solution. Even Wi-Fi, I mean, if you have something like this, it could serve 5 miles out.
Yeah, that's something that, first of all, I'd love to work with you on that.
Yes.
I'm here to help. And what you're talking about is really a shift in perspective on how to develop a project. Because, typically developer will come in and do a project and then they're gone, right? But this is something where there are synapses that connect us all. It goes back to Ubuntu, right? It's like, I am because of you, right? And so we have, I think I said that right, Dr. Fairchild? Close enough? And, because that's how it works. That's how it's going to work going forward. And this shift is going to be, complete, right? And the only way to move that forward is to just do that as soon as possible.
All right, so one of the big things Dr. Fairchild talked about was keeping others, I will say, the local community involved in these projects. So if all three of you can kind of speak on how you're keeping the community or how you're keeping these projects or the things that you're working on actually being able to benefit all the stakeholders in the communities and not just those who have the money at the top. So if you could kind of start with that, Eddie, like how are you tying in the community?
My organization, San Diego Urban Sustainability Coalition, one of our premier programs is called Climate Ambassador Program, where we teach people in the community about all of this from their front door perspective, and not trying to shove it into their house and making them, buy a bunch of stuff, but actually educating them at different levels. So we have a legacy climate ambassadors, which is our senior climate ambassadors. We have the youth climate ambassadors, and we have general population climate ambassadors, right? And I was amazed at how it was well received in the community, because the community wants to know these things. They want these things. They're hungry, and nobody was telling them from their front door, right? It was all, they were trying to make us consumers. Buy solar panels, buy a battery, buy this, buy that, as opposed to educating them as to what the benefit of it is to them. And by doing that, we were able to get a lot of support for the Energy Equity Campus from the community, and different communities, right? Not just one community or one neighborhood, but all the communities that surround it. And it's just been the education.
Okay.
Our people are hungry for education. If we don't give it to them, they'll do something else.
All right, Sherry.
So one of the best things about being on the development side is that you are controlling the budget and the money, and you're in a position to make a decision as to who works on your project and who doesn't. And I know Chuck Quarles is here. I'm sure you've trained and brought on so many subcontractors and businesses over the years. That's where we have to start. That's how you begin to share. Stalker Street Creative, for instance, is going to be a $250 million project. We're reaching out and trying to make sure we connect and bring on contractors who have that opportunity to build, to learn about sustainable design. We started early so that we can begin to train, explain to people what the design concepts are. Maybe they can begin to partner with somebody to make sure that they win that bid. Make sure that they extend their knowledge base by taking a class so that they know how to install a specialized panel, a specialized system that is an Energy Star product. That type of leeway we have to give to our community so they can be a part of the solution and be part of the opportunity. David, David from Urban Design Center, he meets with young contractors all the time. How do we scale you? How do we help you move to the next level in terms of bidding on a project? We do that every single day. There's always an opportunity to partner somebody, JV somebody, or train somebody up, or help them bring on the staff to be able to do something. A small project I'll mention is I'm on the board of directors for the Leimert Park Village, Inc., work in Leimert Park with Mr. Robert Cicedo. And we got a grant from Metro for $300,000 to try to get people to use the train and not drive to get to Leimert Park. So we call it Take the K Train. And part of that grant, we were building kiosks on the platform. Well, Ben got $1 million grant from the state of California to create a concept for his Sankofa-free shuttle. That shuttle goes around the community. It's electric. He had youth design and build that shuttle, and now they're creating the technology to make it automated so it goes around our community.
Nice.
When we got the grant, they said, oh, well, you can just buy some kiosks just from Amazon and put them on the platform. I said, we're not going to do any such thing. Okay. We're going to work with Ben to work with the young people to build it and design it so we have our own prototype and we can make it. Yes, it's going to cost a little bit more money,
so
but that's investing in ourselves.
No, that's lovely. You got everybody. All right, Joe, a little bit about how you're involving the local.
Well, I think because we are working with workforce development programs in every community, right? That's where it all starts. So, we look for a good project and then we look for good support for that project. There's no need to reinvent that piece. We just have to come in there with a project that is executable, that benefits the community, and then we will run the project in a way that allows folks to come in and just provide services. The way the system's been set up, the way this industry has been working is, to be a developer, you have to take on all of the risk. You're going to come in and do a solar project. You got to buy all those panels. You got to buy all those inverters. You got to carry all that risk through the process. We instead carry that risk on our side And when we give folk the opportunity to come in as subcontractors with a variable cost model, okay, where they don't have to tie up all their working capital in equipment, right, and be at risk, okay, and then we provide them with the support to scaffold them and even the training, either our training or the training through the workforce development partners, to make sure that they're coming in and doing their job with some operational excellence, so that then they can grow their business, generate more free cash flow, grow their business. That's how those ecosystems are going to work well, and that's how folks are going to be able to create the thriving local ecosystem, local economy that's going to be able to grow the clean electricity in that community, right?
Nice.
And just repeat that,
All right. And I know Starlet's about to get me, so before we get off, I have a two-part question for everybody. The first one is something I learned from being on panels is, I want you to tell me or answer the one question that you wish I asked, and then quickly. And then the second one is, when the people are coming up to you about how they can get into business, what is the one thing that you would tell them they should start looking into? So the first question is, what's the question that you wish I asked? And the second one is, how can people contact you, and what part of the business should they be looking at if they're trying to do business? We'll start with you. What question should I ask you?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't understand the whole question.
Where's the money at?
Yeah. Where's the money at? Where's the money at? Where's the opportunity at? Holla at me.
All right.
Okay. I think you did a great job, so there's no other question that I think you should ask.
Okay.
But in terms of if someone comes, we need to meet every opportunity we can, have roundtables on ideas, solutions, money. How do we work together and partner together? We come together now, but let's take this to the next step. And every Friday, every Thursday, Tuesday night, I don't know when it is, but we have to do it regularly, and we have to begin to be at the table and read about where these opportunities are coming and how do we take advantage of them. I just will say one thing is, I was on the Pacific Coast Regional's Loan Committee in the early 2000s when Schwarzenegger was governor, and he put forth a $5 million grant program to give to solar energy people who had ideas to come up with new plans that California would eventually invest in. People were coming from around the world with those My Favorite Martian plans, because that's what they look like. But we gave them $1 million because they came forth with an idea. Some of those companies are probably have solar panel today, but there weren't any people of color in that room. We can't let that happen anymore. I think that's what Denise is telling us. We cannot let that happen. There's plenty of opportunity. We start with innovation, we move to how we implement it, and then how do we make sure we retain all the benefits of whatever's happening in our community.
So I guess the question would have been, where is the greatest opportunity for development? And I think it is in urban communities, the places where it's been paid the least attention to and needs it the most. And then I guess, if there was one thing, it's just like there's project opportunities are abundant. They're everywhere, right? And so they're not hard to find. Projects aren't hard to find, but good partners in those projects, real hard to find. Those are the ones that are going to go from, hey, let's do something, to then you get it done. And that's all part of the, how do we work together to support each other and build an ecosystem that understands what that means, and then just kind of does it together and grows, concentric circles around one really great project. So that's it.
And I meant to say all that.
Well, I'd like to thank you guys for coming out, the audience for being here. Can we give them a round of applause?